Maybe before we go to bed, friends, I decided to share this motivation with you, though it was my personal devotion. I was considering the book of James, chapter 1, verse number 2, where the apostle is not suggesting, but is giving a command to the believers. That in as much as you are born again, you have come to the Lord. But there is this subject of faith that you need to be lectured on. You know, there are many people who accepted Jesus as Lord and Savior. But because they did not understand the secret of fighting the devil, the secret of how to gain victory in the walk of faith, they left the Lord. Hence, James is speaking to the believers. James is speaking to those who are born again. He says, brethren, verse number 2, James chapter 1, James says, brethren, count it all joy when you enter into various problems. For the trying of your faith, for the testing of your faith produces an experience, not an experience, it produces steadfastness. You know, I loved the version that says steadfastness. You know, as fallen creatures, we are foreigners to stability. We are foreigners to confidence. We are creatures of fear. So James says, now that you have come to the Lord, when you meet problems, you know, I love James. James does not say you must pursue problems. You must chase difficulties. Because as a matter of fact, problems, sickness, and all manner of trials, they are difficult to handle. And we cannot handle them on our own. James says when you meet challenges, count it joy. You know, I loved the words of the president, our president, Teddy Wilson, in our church. He was actually encouraging the whole world of Christians, especially Adventists, that in this time, during this time of coronavirus, as Christians, we are anchors of stability. When we rub shoulders with people, they must be stable. They must have confidence. They must smile. We are anchors of confidence. We are anchors of stability. You know, I was looking at the word count. The word count is a financial term. When James says count it joy, James says see the potential that comes with the trials when you're a child of God. Stop complaining, stop blaming any person next to you or far from you. Stop talking about spiritualism, witchcraft, and those who hate you. James says count it all joy when you enter into various problems. The word count here, it says evaluate. See the profit that comes with the trials and problems that the devil are throwing to you. And when you look at the book of Romans, Paul says, all things work for good to those who love God. You see, there is a condition. And it reminds me a statement that I read from one of the gospel writers. She says, to a believer, every problem is an opportunity for a testimony. You know, the servant of God does not say to everyone, to anybody, but says to a believer. Are you a believer? If I may ask, are you a believer? Do you trust the Lord and his promises? James says, the servant of God says here, to a believer, every problem is an opportunity for a testimony. It does not say every problem leads to a testimony. It does not say every problem is a testimony. He says every problem is an opportunity. In other words, it lies with the believer to trust the promise of God. The God who is able to turn around the problem which was intended by the evil one to bring glory and honor to God while you are blessed. Friends, this evening I decided to share this motivation because it touched my heart. Many people, we run away, we ask solutions from people when problems come, but God is saying this evening, count it joy when you enter into various problems. Do not fear. Know that there is a God in heaven who is able to turn around every problem and bring a solution that even the kings of this world will come and wonder. It is my prayer and my desire that this motivation may find space in your heart, that you may begin to see that there is no room for fear, for we have a great God who is able to solve every problem. In Jesus' name, have a good night. Amen.